I went to the cinema, saw Beauty and the Beast. I got to see it. Opening day I went and then watched the original the next day to compare, because you have to compare it. It's the same film done 20 years later. And Beauty and the Beast was one of my favorites growing up. Second to Hercules, which is my ultimate favorite. I am Meg. But I did appreciate Belle, and because I used to read a lot when I was growing up, I did relate to her in that aspect. So it was nice to see it again, and I went in not expecting much. Wasn't sure if I really wanted to see it, but my love for Josh Gad is enormous. So I literally went just for him. And I have to say, I really was blown away by it. I didn't expect to be blown away by it. And then I read a couple of reviews afterwards and watched some reviews afterwards, and I know a lot of people hated it. So it was nice to see the different comparison, and I felt like I wanted to contribute. So the way I want to do it is not really just talking about the movie straight through, because I have points that could take forever if I did that. But instead, address the characters, because I feel like from that point, if I address the characters first, then I'll be able to bring out the points that were crucial to me between the two films. So here I am doing a review of Beauty and the Beast 1991 versus 2017. There are spoilers. I'm talking about the entire movie in its entirety, so if you haven't seen it and you don't want to get spoiled, wait to watch this. Jumping right into it, the main characters fell flat in this new version compared to how the original was. Comparing original Belle to Emma Watson Belle. And this round I have to give it to original Belle, especially after going back and rewatching the original film. Okay, so Emma Watson's a really great person. When it comes to acting, I haven't really seen her in a lot of stuff because I don't follow Harry Potter. I'm not a Harry Potter fan whatsoever. I'm one of the rare people of the generation that grew up with Harry Potter and didn't like it. So I don't really have anything I can say about her, but personally to me, I felt like she was a decent Belle, but didn't emphasize her performance. It was very flat, like she went through the motions more so, and she portrayed the character, but it just felt like it was missing some certain points. And watching the original film again and seeing the animated version, how much better she was and how much more character driven she was and motivated by things. And plus she could sing better, but I know that's the one argument that everyone is saying, that Emma Watson is not a singer. And take Be Our Guest. And in the original Be Our Guest, you can see how much emotion that she has. She's excited, she's going and enjoying the show, and she's clapping along. In Emma Watson's Belle, it's the exact same look on her face. It's this, the entire time it's just, and just a very like shy, coy, being like, oh, what am I watching? Original Beast versus New Beast. There are some elements of the New Beast that I really appreciated them doing. I really appreciated that he was very educated and that he knew Shakespeare and that he read, because realistically he would. He is a prince of the 17th century where arts are at an all-time high, especially from the first scene when they're dancing and But that's basically the only thing that was a better trait compared to the original. There was no character for this beast. He barely had any lines. I know a couple other reviewers spoke about how Lumiere and Cogsworth took a lot of the beast's lines in the original, and it kind of really fell flat. He wasn't involved at all. He was just right there. He was all in his misery. And they gave him a tragic backstory, which helped, but it just seemed a little bit over the top. And there was no really a character there. There was really no character. He was just a silhouette and had a couple of really great moments, but overall there wasn't the chemistry either. And Belle and Beast were the weakest characters of the movie. That being said, the rest of the characters were so amazing that they outshined Belle and the Beast. And that's saying a lot. There were a lot of things that I loved about the new version that made it a lot more realistic. Starting from the beginning, I really appreciated how much more the Enchantress was used within this film. And the Enchantress as a character compared to how she was in the old version. I mean, in the old version she was literally only there in the prologue. And she really wasn't there even, because it was just this painting, the stained glass painting that showed a picture of her and just her being mentioned and nothing else. I don't understand, and we don't know why the Enchantress decided, let me put a spell on the Beast. There could be a theory that I read, and it makes sense to add this in, where the Enchantress knew Beast all along, especially with the village being so close. We don't know her motives of why she decided to put the spell on the entire castle, but the really nice thing I appreciated was that she was always there and was able to be there to help. That she wasn't just this random witch enchantress person that was like, oh, you're a mean person, let me curse you and your entire staff. She was a really great character. And the end, it was really realistic. I appreciated the fact that they ended up letting the rose petal fall, and it was the most emotional scene. I was crying so much because I knew that they were going to be saved, and I knew that they were going to turn back into being human, but yet I still couldn't stop crying because they were saying their goodbyes and turning into antiques, and it was such a higher stake and it made it so much better. And oh, it was great. It was so great. The fact that she came in and she saw the Beast as a changed person. I mean, yeah, it's a changed person, and was able to break the spell for them. That was brilliant. I really, really appreciated that. When you take the staff, it's kind of hard. Like, they were great. Everyone that played Mrs. Potts, Cogsworth, Lumiere, and Chip, the wardrobe, maestro, etc. They were really great. And they were such a great supporting cast. I mean, the original, they were amazing because they created all the roles. You have Angela Lansbury, you have other people that I'm forgetting names of. And then the new version, you had Emma Watson, Emma Thompson, Ian McKellen, Ewing McGregor, Stanley Tucci, who I adore, and Andrea McDowell, like amazing, amazing people. Andrea McDowell was very underused, by the way, and I think everyone knows this. It's hard to really pinpoint because they did a great job, and they really kept everything together and did their part excellent. I will have to say, like, I mean, Lumiere here was amazing, but the original Lumiere was better, in my opinion. I really don't have any emotion to Cogsworth. Mrs. Potts was great in both, but yeah, there's not really that much to be said for them. Maurice, new Maurice versus old Maurice. I adored new Maurice. I loved the portrayal with Kevin Kline. He was one of the best people in characters in this film, and I really appreciated that they made him a very clever, eccentric inventor, that he was, you know what he was doing. Like, it wasn't like the cartoon where he's more crazy old Maurice. This one was just more down to earth. Like, overall, all the characters were a lot more subtle. Probably because they were live action and they're actually human beings compared to the animation. The animation's a lot more outrageous at times, but overall, I really appreciated how they rounded out the characters. When you get into the village and you get into LeFou and Gaston, I prefer both new versions of LeFou and Gaston compared to the original. I'm biased because I love Josh Gad. Like I said, he's literally the reason that I went to see this film. But I was so excited. Okay, so this whole gay moments that they had throughout the film was very overblown. That being said, I really appreciated what they did, and just generally how they held the cast. There was so much diversity and so many interracial couples that were such a subtle move, and I really appreciated it for being normalized. Same with the gay moments. I just love Josh. I love him. He did a wonderful job, and it was very subtle, and that's what life is. It's subtle. It's not a huge moment. You shouldn't make a big deal about it, like they did. And it made me so happy, and I loved him at the end when he's dancing. And his mustache was so cute. Like, I love LeFou with a mustache. And he was realistic. He was a realistic character compared to in the cartoon, where it was much more humor and much more of the fool. And he was literally the fool. But here, he was a three-dimensional character that had sustainability and was working through relationship issues and trying to find himself. And it just worked excellent. And he was probably one of the best characters that they had. And I just, oh, the dance, when him and the guy were dancing, I was just like, my heart was melting. It was perfection. And then you get to Gaston. Now, I know a lot of people consider Gaston a villain, but this is the right question. I didn't see him as a villain. He had questionable motives, but then you add in the new backstory where he was a prisoner of war or whatnot, or he fought in the war. And it kind of, I understand his points, and I know he tied up Maurice with the intentions for him to die so he could get Belle, but honestly, I see people that I don't know personally, but I hear so many stories about it, where they do it and they get obsessive with what they want, and I just don't really see him as a villain. I actually sympathized with him, and I might be one of the only ones. Please let me know if I'm the only person that actually sympathized with him, but I was so sad when he died. I want him to live, and I know that it's a stupid thing, but I really appreciated it, and I felt compassion for his character. I liked Gaston in this version, and I really would, and oh yeah, that was another thing. So we know that Belle and Gaston don't like each other. Well, Belle doesn't like Gaston, obviously Gaston likes Belle. But in the original, Belle was polite. Belle was a princess type of motive, and she was always polite and being like, oh sorry Gaston, just brushing him aside, but was never downright rude to him. And it really irked me that from the beginning that Emma Belle always was so rude and was like, oh, I don't care about you. Like, it just seemed so out of character for me. And I know she was pushing feminism, but it just was so out of character, and it really irked me, and that also helped me side and sympathize with Gaston more. I might be the only person saying this. I'm really curious to know, so please let me know. But that I'm pro Gaston for this film. My review on it, I would go see it again. I really admired the cinematography, and the scenes were beautiful. I preferred the ballroom of the animated feature compared to this ballroom, but that's just nitpicking. They did an amazing job with it. I know a lot of people did hate it, and and I understand your reasons, and I really do appreciate your reasons, but overall I believe that they improved more on the characters and the storyline in general and made things a lot more realistic, and I really appreciated how they worked things through and added the backstories and spent more time teaching you about these characters and really had you sympathize with them. So I just wanted to share my thoughts. It was an awesome film. It really was, and I don't know if I'm going to continue liking everything they do with this new live action remakes that they're doing every 50 films they are just tossing out there, but this one they did. I appreciated it. So there you go. I hope you have a magical day, and as always I will see you real soon.